let me just contact information. Let me go here in looking at the sources. You've got a handout for this piece that I've given you. When we look at where does retirement income come from for public servants in the state of Oregon, you've kind of got these various sources up on the screen in front of you. So I'm going to start with the PERS pension system because that is what most people think of when they think of retirement and public employment. And that's whether that's us that work in public service or whether that's the general population. As it seems like every morning I'm getting 2 or 3 news articles sent to me by our communications director of PERS, or in this paper, or in that paper, they're doing this or doing that. A lot of activity in PERS over really the last decade or more. And I'm sure there will continue to be, a newsworthy part of our existence. As is common, PERS doesn't comment on what kind of sort of might happen, anything like that. We will wait for it to happen, and then we will come out with education about what has just happened, how does it affect you, all of that type of stuff. So I'll be keeping my comments focused on what we know today about PERS, about Oregon Savings Growth, and all of that. And as I mentioned, the Oregon Savings Growth Plan is under the PERS administrative umbrella. So I work for PERS, but it is a completely separate entity. And every now and then that can cause some stress or concern for folks at varying levels as they read in the paper, if you still get one, or they look online, or they're seeing on the news something about PERS this, PERS that. That is important. That does affect our pension plan. Has nothing to do with the supplemental deferred compensation plan, the Oregon Savings Growth Plan, other than perhaps highlighting it, making it even more important in our lives as far as looking at our big picture. So within PERS, we have 2 essential streams of income coming to us in the future. We have the pension, which was what most people think of when they think of PERS. I do this, and I get this, okay? I volunteer in the prison system, and the prison system and the pension system are the only 2 places I hear how many years do you have in, how many years do you get out. And so we look at, I'm going to do this, work X number of years, and I get this pension, this defined benefit or paycheck for life. And then you oftentimes hear pension plans referred to as a DB, or defined benefit plan, meaning you can go online to the PERS website, set yourself up with an OMS account, an online membership services account. Some of you may have already done this. And you can actually input some numbers, and it'll pull some numbers demographically from your employer, and you can do a benefit estimate. In other words, what might my pension look like? You can do that. So we can define a benefit for you at some point in time in the future based on certain parameters. I'll give you a quick one up on the screen here in just a little bit. Same thing with Social Security, for instance, another box that's on the screen here, another defined benefit plan. We work for Social Security covered employers. We earn credits in the system, and at certain ages, we are eligible to begin collecting a benefit from Social Security. And you will, from time to time, get an estimate from Social Security that says, okay, at age 62, this, 67, this, 70, that type of thing. You can also go online and to the Social Security website and generate an estimate for yourself. Either a very simplified one that doesn't require you to put in much information at all, or a more specific one if you want to give them personal information, which of course they already have, with Social Security, but anyway, you can fill that in out there and get a little more definition to that. So the idea of a defined benefit plan is that paycheck for life. Okay, so most people think of it as a pension, and most people will take their PERS as a lifetime annuity benefit. There are still, for Tier 1 and Tier 2, lump sum options and all sorts of things like that, but the vast majority of retirees will take it as a lifetime annuity benefit. That's Tier 1, Tier 2, and OPSER, the most recent tier. So if you're hired after August 30th of 2003, you're the OPSER tier. And they just didn't decide to call it Tier 3. So Tier 1, Tier 2, OPSER all have a defined benefit component to it. We also have the Individual Account Program, the IAP. All of us, once again, whether we're Tier 1, Tier 2, or OPSER, have an IAP. Individual Account Program is what that acronym stands for. So as of 2004, or whenever you came to work in a PERS covered position, an IAP account was established for you. The IAP account is a defined contribution account, a DC plan, defined contribution. Meaning we know what goes into it, we know that what is contributed to it, that is 6% of our gross pay currently. What does that turn into in retirement? What kind of benefit does that give us? We don't know. Now, a workshop I talked about, where we're looking at how much should I save. In that workshop, we'll have everybody work through a worksheet, and one of the things we do is we calculate a future IAP account balance, so approximately what you might have in that thing. I received my first statement in the mail just the other day. Perhaps some of you have gotten yours already. If not, it's coming soon. It will list your current balance as of January 1st, because they credit earnings to those things. They credit earnings to those once a year. So we'll list that balance that you had January 1st of last year, I guess it's the 2018 statement. And so that will give you what is the amount in that defined contribution account. For Tier 1 and Tier 2 folks in the room, when we get our statements on a Tier 2, we have two numbers, $2 figures that we see on our, maybe 3 if you have money in the variable account still. But we have a dollar figure that says what's in our pension account, what's in our defined benefit account. Yet for most of us, that is an increasingly meaningless number. Okay? So for instance, as a Tier 2, I think I've got like $7,000 in my Tier 2 defined benefit account. Does that mean that's all I've got to save for retirement is $7,000? No. That's going to turn into a paycheck for life. It's not real money, in other words, when I look at my Tier 2 account. All right? They're going to take, and we'll show you in just a moment, they're going to take my salary times years of service times factor. So I could end up retiring 10, 15 years from now if all the plans go according to plan, and I could have $4 in there. And I could still get $3,500 a month for the rest of my life in a PERS pension benefit, based on salary, years of service, factor. Okay? So for most of us, our Tier 1 and Tier 2 account balances are not real important to it. Now there are some Tier 1s out there, 30 plus years of service, have a pretty sizable amount in there, still may go out into the money match calculation, and in that money match calculation that PERS still has for Tier 1 and Tier 2, that balance is important. It does count for something, all right? And so that's an issue we see. So that's another point I guess I should make. There are folks out there that think that money match went away. Well, it didn't go away. It's still there for Tier 1 and Tier 2 members. Here's the deal. Some of you already know this. We don't choose the formula that PERS will use to calculate a pension for us. That's one of up to three formulas for Tier 1 and 2. Only one formula for OPSER. But we don't choose that. So let's say you have a choice. Let's say you're Tier 2 or Tier 1. But the good news is the system is weighted in our favor. Meaning PERS will run a calculation for all the available calculations for us on our account, and they must, by law, select the formula that pays us the highest pension, pays us the highest amount. Okay, so we can't screw that up. Okay, where the choice comes in PERS is at the back end of our career when we want to say, okay, how am I going to take that pension? Am I going to take all of it over my lifetime and then that's it? Or am I going to include a beneficiary with maybe a period certain benefit or a lifetime benefit? And so that's where you hear people talking about, well, there's 15 choices that you have, in retirement for Tier 1 and Tier 2. Some of that can be overwhelming at first. Most of us will be able to eliminate well over half of those because they just don't fit what we're trying to do. OPSERP, I think there's 6 or 7 choices. It's a much fewer choice out there for that. But that's what we get to do. That's what we get to kind of do something in PERS.